was addicted to drugs and alcohol and sex and all kinds of different things that were there, and God just crumbled them.
If you don't mind, really share with me and remind me of your story, how I know addiction was a big part of your life.
My heart was beating, had to have been beating 200 beats a minute. I thought my heart was gonna explode. I fell on the floor and I was calling 911. As the ambulance got there, I passed out. It was me a picture in a hospital bed. Hey, I need help, can you pick me up?
If that was another girl, she will be like, this guy is creepy. She wouldn't have responded to you.
But she was the first contact. That girl ends up, I married her April, May, and June, 0, 0, 0. July, 0. August, 0. I gave over $1,000 church. My parents said, are you sure you're not hearing the wrong spectrum, the whole other spectrum of things? 300 grand in 3 months or $250,000 in 3 months? From January to December of 23, we did $2.5 million first full year. It was like 2.6 million roughly. And that was with 4 people.
But you worked always for other people. What do you think you made right things to make your company make money?
It's his business, not mine. And the more I get out of the way of the business, the more he shines through it, the more he takes care of it.
Josh, thanks for coming here.
Yes, thanks for having me, man.
Josh is the owner of
Roofing Technologies
Unlimited.
Yes.
How's business lately been going?
Well, it's been good, bro. I've been doing right around $200,000 to $300,000 a month right now.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
In the slow season. So like from November to now, about 200 to 300 a month. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been talking to a couple of my friends in the roofing industry.
Okay.
Last year was one of their worst, and this year too.
Awful.
Yeah, because no hurricanes, no weather craziness in Houston, and not only in Houston, like nationwide claims dropped by 40%.
Really?
The TPA programs dropped by 40%. So if you're making money in these tough times, it's promising.
Yeah, it's good. It's not too much money, but it's definitely something. And I'm tired of insurance claims, bro. I'm being honest. Like, I've done more retail in the last year and a half. I've done like probably 75% more retail. And we used to door knock a lot and go door knocking for insurance work. And we've cut down from door knocking to mostly networking and referrals. It's so different.
Much better.
It's so different now.
Time consuming, is draining. Every job you need to fight for it. It just too much headache, I feel. But for the long run, what are you doing is I feel what's work. That's why, like, you know, right now my team, we're switching.
Yeah.
Almost 100%. From 3 salespeople, 1 is just dedicated for residential.
Okay.
2 is just commercial. You know, we're good. We're big right now on BOMA. We're good on HEA, Houston Engineer Association, HLAD, Hotels and Lodge Association of Houston.
Wow.
REMS, Risk Management and Hotels.
I love that, man.
And HCA, the Houston Claim Association. Actually, we're sponsoring part of they have a golf tournament this weekend.
Okay. You gonna play?
I am gonna play.
Are you any good?
We're having a team.
Okay.
You know, but no, I'm not good. I'm so.
You good play?
Yeah, I can play.
Okay.
I can play. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. Oh, I play golf regularly. Yeah, I love golf.
Okay, then we've been talking about it, but we need to go there.
Yeah, we need to go soon. Play some golf. I can be a ringer. I'm a good driver. I can drive the ball. That's about it. Everything else is suspect. But my best feature is driving. And I love. You know what's crazy? I just love that you're building the business the way you're building. It's such a good way to build a business. Like, I love that you're involving yourself in these different community elements of things. It's so smart. And I can relate to that because we also, like you're talking about hotels and engineering and groups and stuff like that, man. It's for us in roofing, it's like the Roofing Contractor Association of Texas, Houston Area Roofing Contractor Association, like Better Business Bureau. And we recently got this thing called the Good Contractors List.
How is that BBB?
So the Better Business Bureau is really good for networking, going to the events in Post Oak where they do events in Post Oak. You can meet a
Yeah,
lot
I've
of
been getting
people.
the notification for their
We do
their
it. I do it
events.
just to go meet people, and it's been helpful there. It does a very minimal cost. Doesn't cost a lot of money. Plus, it's another. A lot of people look at that. Like homeowners look at that from a residential perspective. They look at the Better Business Bureau because that's what they're used to.
Correct.
But one of the cool things that I've done is called the Good Contractors List. And so you should look into that. My guy, Randy Hurtado, the Good Contractors List is basically a $25,000 guarantee that you're not going to basically screw the homeowner over. So it's a peace of mind for the homeowners, homeowner insurance working with the contractor. Because we run into a lot of contractors now in Houston where
They don't guarantee
they'll take the money and then they'll run off with the work. They won't do the work. They'll run off and not do the work. Well, the Good Contractors List is saying first of all, it's FBI background check. You have to pass an FBI background check.
Okay.
You pay a subscription to it. It's monthly subscription, and you have to be inside of the ethics and the integrity of how you do business. But I guarantee you right now, they're opening up the market in Houston. I was the first contractor in Houston to be a part of it.
Really?
Yeah.
That's a great way to sell the jobs and
I can sell jobs with no peace of mind now. So you work with me, you're going to get a roof, no hassle, no pressure. You pay me money, you don't worry about
and then they have
anything.
you probably guarantee like the warranty. Do you?
Yeah, guarantee the warranty, the warranty deliverance, right? So like a lot of contractors they'll say in my industry, and I don't know about yours, but in mine, in roofing, they'll say that, oh, it's a extended warranty with the manufacturer. Well, when they go to it and they don't actually submit the extended warranty, they're cutting about a $500 to $750 cost on that extended warranty that they don't submit for. And so the homeowner then a few years later is like, I need my warranty. And they're like, oh, well, your roofing contractor didn't submit it. And of course, it's all bypassed.
So yeah, you have to submit it when you.
Yeah. So you submit it once. I mean, for my well, I think for all of them, but for my manufacturers, for sure, I have to submit the warranties. And so those warranties delivering is part of the $25,000 guarantee.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I can guarantee everything that I do in my business to the $25,000 guarantee.
That's awesome.
And it's amazing. And it doesn't even have to be a $25,000 job. It could be a $150,000 job, and that $25,000, most $100,000, $150,000 jobs, any stand up with the homeowner or anything like that it's not going to be a $150,000 problem. Awesome. It's going to be a $10,000 problem. You got a guarantee on that. So
yeah. But you were telling me earlier how I come up with these ideas, how we run the business. Do you know how? It's so simple. I take my Bible.
That's right.
I swear to God, I take my Bible. I go in my room or I go outside by myself and I pray, and then I literally it's like sometimes, like most of the time, God downloads these ideas in my head, or He reminds me of like someone like you, like you mentioned something about that's like the business bureau or anything, and then God will remind me of it, and then I was like, you know what? Let me grab my laptop and start. Looking it up, and then you end up having the best ideas. Yeah. But that's the best part of it.
Dude,
it's God's driven, not your idea. So
I was gonna guess that.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. I was actually gonna guess something to do with the Lord.
It is. Like people, sometimes I come in the office, I tell them I have idea, and they're like, how did he come up with this idea? And I laugh because it's definitely not me. It's like I believe it's God revealing it in my heart or in my mind, or He bring people that tell me about it, and then you make some changes and tweaks, and just it gets you excited because it's you realize you're part of God's plan. It's not like you're just operating on your own. You're operating within God's plan for the universe, for Texas, for Houston, for Texas, for the church. So it's really exciting.
That's so good, bro.
Yeah,
I love that. Hey, I was gonna say I can agree with that, dude. that's how I get my ideas too.
Yeah, yeah.
You spend it's that secret place, right? Like that time with the Lord in the secret place is where we can receive the most from the Lord, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah. Like the reason I brought you here today, I want to talk to you. I really like want to share your story. I know you shared part of it, but how your life before, like, because your success right now in business, it's definitely God's
absolutely, 100%.
like moving in your life. So
Yeah.
like for me, like the background of that is what make the story amazing. So if you don't mind, really like share with me and
Sure.
remind me of like your story, how
Yeah.
I know like addiction was a big part of your life,
Yep.
getting to a point that you like you wanted to commit suicide, right? Or
Couple times.
couple times.
Yep.
And then God supernaturally, and now God is using your business to bless people and
right.
to share, like, you know, being really being pastor on and a preacher and evangelist in the marketplace and businesses.
Yeah. Well, thank you for that. I appreciate that. I don't know about how well I do that, but I just like really just lean on the Lord for all of it, right? And so my story, yeah, I mean, just to be honest, I mean, yeah, a couple years ago, I was up to no good. You know, the way I tell my testimony now is not too much. I think I hear a lot of testimonies these days, and the way I hear them is I glorified and I was the biggest X, I was the this and that, and I was doing the most of this. That. And I think for me, with the way I tell my testimony now is like I identified with certain value systems. Okay, so like I didn't think church was fun. So the way that my fun system was a certain aspect of trying to have fun in the world, right? So I lived my life in a fun mindset of, you know, partying, drinking, and these types of things. That was my fun system. I didn't think that being a Christian and following Jesus, I could have fun. I didn't think that was a possibility. I always thought, oh, this is no fun over here. So that pushed me away from the Lord. The thought process of the two different systems and the unknown that God actually had so much more fun for me in my life over here than over here. So my system was not good, and I partied and I played with my life really. I was addicted to drugs and alcohol and sex and all kinds of different things that were there. And the Lord just basically, you know, long story short, I mean, I had all these different things that were in my life, and God just crumbled them and broke all the chains off of me in 2022 when I had a close to death experience with a drug. You know, I actually, and I've contemplated telling this story too much because it's like, I don't want it to be about that. I just want it to be more about Jesus and what he's done in my life. But, you know, I had a real close to death experience with cocaine-based ecstasy. And by the grace of God, you know, I fell on the floor and I had to call a 911, call an ambulance, and they came. I met them outside, and I was like, literally, my heart was beating 200. I mean, like, my heart was beating, had to have been beating 200 beats a minute or more. It was just, I thought my heart was going to explode.
Right.
And I literally as the ambulance got there, I passed out. So it was crazy. Like those things that took place, you know, luckily I was smart enough to unlock my door and get outside so that they could get me, you know, I wasn't behind a door locked or whatever, and whatever would have happened. So I don't know, but, they took me to the hospital, you know, and revived me, pumped me full of fluids, washed out everything, and got my heart rate down and all this other stuff. There was crazy stuff. I don't know if I was what exactly happened, but my body just didn't respond to the drug like well, and obviously that's why you don't do drugs, right? And so
Correct.
those things happened, and I remember hitting the ground and falling down, and before I got up, I just prayed. I was like, Lord, like I know that I've given my life to you, but I was like, I just want to get through this, you know, can you help me get through this? Like, whatever it is, like, I'll do it. I need to get through this. I don't want to go out like this.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a real moment, dude. That was a real moment. Sorry if I get emotional, but that was a real moment.
I love
that.
I love it because, like, you know, like like the ethnicity of the story that when God does work in someone's life or in business or in family or whatever, like you cannot share the story without having that emotion and I don't believe it's just emotion. I believe like down deep in your soul something gets ignited and something gets reminded and it's really like even the Bible telling us so many times, remind yourself,
Yeah,
remember,
Psalms 119.
we always need to
Yeah.
remind ourselves of these and like,
Absolutely.
like, like it's you blessing other people with sharing your testimony, you're also blessing yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, after that had happened, you know, I, I, I recovered. Obviously, I went to the hospital. I recovered. They released me from the hospital, and from there, I went home, and I called my parents, and I finally like kind of confessed to my parents that I had a problem, and I told them that like, hey, I just almost died at the hospital, and I'm glad I made it out. They didn't know about it until I was able to coherently be able to drive home. But it was the next day. And at the same time I was working with a roofing company. We were doing really well. And
So you were in sales, correct? And
yeah, I was in
managing the
sales.
projects.
I was in sales. I was a
Sales,
salesperson.
okay.
Yeah. So I was in roofing sales. I was building another roofing company for another person. And that roofing company was doing really well at the time. I was running around chasing claims, chasing storms, doing that kind of thing, running around with the wrong crowd, really, which is what influenced a lot of those decision making processes. And so that's how I identified, like I said, the value system of community, like that community system of being surrounded by certain people or certain things to have a sense of community. I didn't realize that on this side that the Lord had such amazing, beautiful community for me. And so God really took all of these different things and he really twisted it around. So from that point, I actually texted my wife and
She wasn't your wife.
it wasn't my wife yet. I
And
texted,
you weren't even dating.
we weren't dating. I texted her and she's the best part of the whole story. But I basically messaged her and I was like, hey, I need some help.
She's so cool. If that was another girl, she will be like, this guy is creepy. She wouldn't have responded to you.
Yeah, she was an incredible blessing in my life.
Yeah.
I honestly say to this day, like she's my greatest earthly blessing of all time. So I messaged her and it's funny because she like deferred me to somebody else, but it was like me also confessing to her that I had a problem. Like it was a picture in a hospital bed, like, hey, I need help. Can you pick me up? But she was the first contact in my phone because her name's Brandy. So first contact in my phone. So I just messaged the first person I could. And she deferred me to somebody else. He couldn't come. So I had to walk home. I got cleared at like 6:30 in the morning. I got there at 10:30 at night. Got cleared at 6:30 or 7, something like that. So I started walking and I had about an hour walk home before I could charge my phone up at a gas station and I Ubered home. So it was a rough night for me, but God really used that moment to like confess. And the reason he's confess is because I think people deal with a lot of addiction and problems, but they don't confess to somebody. They'll deal with it and they'll keep dealing with it. Because I dealt with these things, these micro things, and maybe not a full, I don't even know if I can call it a full-blown overdose, but a bad reaction to a drug that caused my heart to almost stop. You know what I mean? Like almost killed me. And so I call it an overdose because I had too much. My heart was about it was about to die. But we deal with these micro things in those places. And I remember being in the world system thinking, man, I would deal with little things that would come up and I would never confess it to anybody. I would never tell somebody about it. And so the important part of those testimonies, I told my parents, I told my future wife, she was a girl at the time, she was just a regular girl at the time before she became my wife. But, I confessed to them. And then when I got through to them, they hung out again. Things were different. I mean, they challenged me to stay in church. And so from that point on, I stayed at our church, Showing Place, and I went every single day. I went Sunday, Wednesday night, Sunday
Other
night at All
meetings.
Nations. I maxed out. Any opportunity I could go, I was going.
Yeah, because you're hungry. You
I
know,
was
you're
hungry
hungry
for what the
God.
Word of God was saying. I was hungry for what He could do. And when God revealed Himself to me in that place and put actually His presence on me, and He filled me with His Spirit, that's when things started to change. I can remember one time I was laying on my face. I was laying on my face at Dwelling Place at one of the Wednesday night services, and I was just laying on my face like, Lord, you're gonna touch my heart tonight. I'm gonna lay here until you do. Like I'm just laying here, like you're gonna touch my heart. You're gonna touch me. I'm not leaving until you do. And I felt my heart actually like break open. I felt like the Lord kind of break the hardness of my heart, and it kind of was kind of painful a little bit. Like it actually felt like a painful thing. Physically
Yeah.
felt the pain. I was like, oh wow, it kind of hurt. But as soon as that got done, I felt like the Lord's light hit my life, and I just like was like, whoa. I was spiritually awakened to the Father and got a Father's blessing by that, and it was an incredible experience. And I mean, ever since that time, I'm now. I mean, I don't. It's a blur, but I mean, so many things have happened between here and now. But I mean, I've been sober for 4 years. Now that girl ends up, I married her a couple years later, and my business went from barely being started to completely flourishing. It's just crazy.
Let's talk a little bit about the business, because right now you're running like the roofing company, but also you started a side business, which is the coffee.
Yes.
You know, so like let's talk about the roofing. How did you start? Because it's a team between you and your brother.
So my roofing company got started in April of 22, a couple months before that incident took place.
Okay.
Because I was already making my departure out of the other company.
Okay, but you weren't.
But we weren't really. We were zero like each month for April, May, and June. 0, 0, 0. July 0. August 0. September 100,000. There's a reason that 100,000 happened is because I gave over $1,000 as seed money that I had. I gave it to Core Love, and the funniest thing happened is June happened, and then a couple months later, I had this moment where I felt like I was supposed to give all my money to Core Love. Okay. And it was crazy because I really felt like the Lord spoke to me. He was like, give all your money to me and defend the orphan.
So basically, like you were really like it's kind of like you paid your tithing before you even got the money.
I had no money. Yeah, exactly. And so I paid that.
Yeah.
But the funniest thing is I called my family on the way after I felt like the Lord told me to do that. I'm calling my mom and dad like, hey, mom, dad, I think I'm gonna do this, and I feel like the Lord's doing it. And they were like, 2 months ago, just like at their house for a few days because my heart was recovering from the thing that I just did. And they're like, are you sure? Are you sure you're not hearing the wrong spectrum, the whole other spectrum of things or whatever? And I'm like, no, I'm sure. And I was headed to Lupe Tortillas around the corner from church. And sure enough, Mike and Mandy Reisner were walking into the restaurant. And I said, yes, gotta go. I love you. Goodbye. And I walked in and I had lunch with them. And he said something to me that stuck with me forever. It stuck with me, and it applies to the business success in every capacity. In the world, you have to hustle culture, right?
I couldn't find that.
And sorry, it's this idea of hustling, this idea of Martha, and Mary was the good portion, and he told me that anything that you do, anything you build with the Lord, like you're not doing it for money and hustle and just hustle to get there.
Yeah.
You're doing it with the Lord in a heart posture for the Lord. And so whatever you do, whether it's this business or whether it's this thing or whatever, whether it's this ministry or whatever it is, it's how are you getting out of the way enough to just serve the Lord where he's at? And so when I accepted that idea, I have no idea how to explain it, brother. I mean, it's unexplainable. I mean, from there, it went from zero to 250,000 for the rest of that year, which is only 3 months, which was lights on. You know what I mean? We're rolling, 300 grand in 3 months or $250,000 in 3 months was an insane amount of money right away.
It was just the beginning.
And it was just the beginning. And it went from zero to that very quickly. And I was like, oh goodness, I gotta get my brother down here. So I called my brother, and his name is Michael Keith. He ran country clubs on the East Coast. So he was details down to the napkin, bro. I'm talking about hospitality maxed out. I mean,
Okay.
big time on the back end hospitality level. So older brother, 9 years older than me, 9.5 years older than me. So I called him. I said, hey, let's start this business together. Let's do it. And I caught him at the right time. You know, he was about to get a promotion to a pretty good gig, you know, and he gave that all up. He gave up his house. He gave up all these things, and he moved down here to Houston, Texas in January of 23. And from January to December of 23, we did $2.5 million. We were 10x in our first full year. So, well, it was like 2.6 million roughly. And that was with 4 people. That was with four people. We had a couple other sales guys come and go, but we had 4 main people that were a part of that team.
A lot of people, when they have like this, when they get into a new business, you have the background in sales. He has the background of hospitality. I'm pretty sure when you have hospitality, he probably solid in operation.
Oh, he's my COO. So he's my coordinator of operation. I mean, he's my operator. He operates the business. He runs the business.
But you worked always for other people. Like what do you think you made the right things to make your company make money? Like
that's such a good question.
The first 2 years, the first 5 years is the hardest in the business.
So we're approaching our 4th year in business. That's a great question, by the way. It's such a good question. What were the things I learned along the way that I instilled into my business? That, just to reiterate the question. So the reality is, for me, I was with 3 companies prior to starting my own. Okay. My first company screwed me over a ton. My second company went bankrupt because I had started with 4 partners who were completely silly. And some of us kind of had our heads screwed on, but we weren't fully there. All 4 of us were very immature at the time. Now, all 4 of us are thriving, doing really well separately, you know. So it just was a premature, just not the right situation. I got a lot of love for those guys. Those guys really, I love those guys a lot, but we just were it was just not the right fit for us. So that ended up going bankrupt. That company ended up going bankrupt, but I learned a lot in teamwork with those guys. I learned a lot on how to build a company with those guys, and what was the right numbers and what wasn't, and what was the procedures and what wasn't. I learned a lot in that group, and I don't give it enough credit. So I'm giving it credit now because I normally skip over it. But I learned a lot about failure in that group, and I think my ability to risk things is what made us successful. My ability to take risks is a lot deeper than most people in terms of like business deals and stuff like that.
I consider myself risk taker too, but
you have
also but you have to sometimes to study it and and look like, okay, what's case scenario that like how did you navigate with all these decisions, like, you know, because you look into like, should we buy more trucks? Should we invest in more equipment? Should we get an office or building? Because you probably were operating from your house, and you know, like, so it's
for the first 2 years we operated from our house. To answer that question, I mean, the best way I knew how to make decisions was to take it to the Lord. I was very fiery my first 2 years of business. I was like, you know, I still had a little bit of the world in me. I was still running around like and get stuff done, you know. But in terms of putting the pieces together, I think God just gave me a natural ability to put those pieces together. I mean, in the roofing industry, I learned at my third company, I learned in my first company the process of roofing. My second company, I learned how to fail and how to fail good and how to fail bad, or whatever you look at it. And then my third company, I learned how to put processes and systems in place for a small operation to keep your overhead low, to do a decent amount of revenue, to like make money. And we put together positions for my company. I have My brother, of course, operations manager, handled a lot of production and a lot of operations, HR, financial, that kind of stuff. Then I had another position open where it was an estimator, project estimator, which was a really key position for me because I'm a driver, I'm an accelerator. I can go sell, market. And I needed somebody to kind of trail me and fill out these estimates and send them off, and I can follow through with them. So that was a good position for me. Brother-in-law, his name is Israel. And then another position is a project coordinator. So the ones that once they're sold, building the actual job and making them done. That's been a key position for us. We had a guy that was really great at what he was doing, and we've kind of change things out now and today, but at the beginning it was a very important position for us, and they had to have some experience. They had to know what they're doing in order to make sure the roof was being built correctly, and so far we've done a pretty good job with that.
That's very unique, by the way, because a lot of roofing companies don't operate the same way as
No, every roofing company I've talked to, they operate where the salesperson is either a 1099 and they do everything for themselves,
and they run the project
and they run everything, and I've run it. I've remember how to learn how to fail. That was the failing method on that end.
Yeah, because you're creating salespeople. It's like, here's the thing. When I go to buy a car, it's the worst time of my life. I hate to work with salespeople. I seriously do. Like, like I finally at Ford, we built a relationship with a guy enough that I can text him and tell him I want this car, and he will send me like the bottom number that finally I can go buy it without even negotiate with him.
Yeah.
Because they always feel like they're gonna screw you, and a lot of the roofers are the same. You know, like, and not only roofer, and a lot of salespeople. So to have like that team of players like that, they operate together, that like it's not just selling, it's about like having the right production, you have the right equipment, you have the right services. So how did you guys came up with this like operation plan or process?
Well, I kind of thought about it from the perspective of building the business around my sales ability. So initially, this is how I thought about it, honestly. This is the way I thought about that. It's like, I knew I was the best salesperson, but I didn't like writing the estimates. I didn't like sitting at the job every day, and I didn't like paying the bills. So I just hired people to do those things, and then I went and sold. But I actually went and sold. So I didn't sit on my hands and not sell. I went and did my part of the equation, which was go and sell. Yeah. And I let them do those things. Now, from a delegation standpoint, I had to train them how to do those pieces. So I had to be uncomfortable to actually go do those roles and teach. My brother knew nothing about roofing when he first got here. I had to teach him everything he knows. My brother-in-law, Israel, knew nothing about writing estimates. I had to teach him everything he knows. He's now almost level 3 Xactimate writer. After 4 years of constantly putting. So what I learned was that it really is not super possible to have it fully let go, but that these roles were important for me to actually expand my sales ability. But I still had to go in and I still had to spend time in every area. And I couldn't just like be whatever, you guys take care of it. I couldn't do that. I had to still be investing my time in that. Yeah. And then I was able to focus more on building out the sales and marketing systems and teams. Right now we're rebuilding for the 4th time. The biggest struggle I've run into is now that I'm building sales team, I'm trying to build in a certain way that each sales team that I've had sales guys that were good, and either they go and work for another company or they go and start their own company. It's like one of the two things that takes place. Once I get them trained up enough, they're going to do one of those two things. And so now I'm actually helping them make this more of a career mindset, and I'm only hiring the people that are coming in on that side of things. So I'm building out I'm building out a recruiting platform where I'm going to be building them in that direction. So it's like, hey, if you fail at any point of the recruiting process, you're not going to be able to work for me.
Have you ever read the book From Good to Great?
I actually am about to. I just bought it. It's in the mail.
Really, it's a
Yeah.
great book.
I need to read it. Do you have a copy? I'll just send that back.
I don't know if I have it, but yeah, but I read it years ago. Maybe I still have copy. I'll check in my house.
Yeah.
But I read it years ago, and like one of the things he talks about is if you have a school bus, you need to make sure is putting the right people at the right place. You know?
Yeah, right people in the right seats. Absolutely.
Even maybe you didn't know it at the time, but this is what you did. Is putting the people where they gifted, where they talented. Like, you know, your brother has come from hospitality and the operation side, like, let's put you in the operation side. You're good in sales, like, you know, some people like who are disciplined to track day to day, you put them in the project management or
Right.
project coordinator. What's the biggest success or the biggest achievement you would say, like, even if that was like one big commercial job that you sold it for $500,000 or whatever, like what would you say, any things, what would be the biggest success you had in the past 3 or 4 years with the roofing industry?
I would say the biggest success that I've had would be the 2 roofs that we did for free.
For free.
Yeah. 3. It was on 3 for free. Yeah. We did a roof for free. It's called my Heart Posture campaign. Every year someone comes along and their situation sucks. And they have a tough time, you know. And whether that being their house burned down, we did a new roof for a couple that had their house burned down a few years ago. And we put a roof on for them.
No insurance, nothing probably.
Huh?
No insurance, nothing.
No, they had insurance. The insurance, I think, the insurance shorted them some money on the roof to do a quality. I think they would have had to cut a bunch of corners or whatever, and they were prepared to pay a little bit out of pocket. But I said, no, we're gonna put a roof on for them. And then the other one was a friend of ours, actually, you know, on his house. They're trying to rebuild his house. We've been working with Katie Responds. They're a great organization. Those little things are really beautiful. And then I had a lady that is a friend of mine who her husband a few years ago passed away to prostate cancer. And close family friend of mine. And when I went to their house, I mean, they were like, you know, I told her that the repair was going to be like $1,000 and she like broke down in tears, bro. And I was like, don't worry about it. I was just going to cover the repair. And so I just was going to cover the repair. But as I was leaving, like I felt the Lord touch my heart and it was like, what if you did the whole roof? And that was our first one that we did. And so since then, I feel like the Lord is like, there's going to be situations from time to time that the Lord just like comp that roof and just do it because that's the thing. So that's the biggest success. And the funniest thing is we made the greatest thing about it is we made documentary videos on our YouTube channel for it. And we put them out and we submitted those projects to the Houston Area Roofing Contractor Association. And we won a community service award for the first one, the first one I told you about, the prostate cancer guy, Mr. Scott. He passed away a few years ago. We did their roof. We won an award for that, and then we were able to share that award with the family. Be like, look, this is, you know, yeah, we may have spent, you know, $15,000 to fix your roof, fix your house and stuff, but this is the legacy that, you know, your husband and your dad was able to leave behind. You know, it's like, through us, you're able to leave that through us. And we're actually up for another one Saturday. So we'll see Saturday if we get another. We're only submitting. I could submit for, I mean, Hassam, I've done, you know, $170,000 Bravo tile roof. That's beautiful. And I can show you the video after we do this, but I can show you the amazing success roofing that we've done.
But I mean,
400 or 500. I mean, we've done a couple commercial jobs that are in the $500,000 range, you know, $400 to $500,000. And they've been amazing projects to be on, you know, that are profitable and stuff like that. But all that gets roped into the business. The treasures on earth are just helping people, bro. Correct. Loving on people and helping just to be a beacon of light for the industry. And then another success, one of my biggest success that I'm super proud of most recently, I had a friend of mine who's in the industry. He's very influential in this industry and I love him to death. He's a great guy in terms of discipline and freedom. And he just most recently gave his life to Jesus, man. and I can remember years ago just the Lord giving me a heart for him to like pray for him and pray for his salvation. And I've been praying for him, I've been praying for him. There's been times where I've been frustrated with him because certain things he would say were very outlandish and, very filled with pride and stuff. And I'd be a little frustrated because I'm like, man, you're better than that. And I wouldn't judge him for that. I mean, obviously what he was saying was probably, honestly, most of the time it was right.
Yeah.
But there was just a heart for him to see him come to the Lord and see what God was going to do through him. And I got to have lunch with him recently, man. My God, I love that guy, dude. He's just, God is going to use him in such an impactful way in this industry that I'm in. And so I love that. Those are the biggest successes to me is showing that we can, in the industry, we can make an impact by interceding for people to come to the Lord that are influential in the industry, to give away roofs for free when people need it, and be completely living in abundance where God is completely completely thriving our businesses, and we're not operating from a place of fear, but
that's what we're called
for
at the end of the day,
Absolutely.
If God's want to bless someone is going to use a human.
It's his money, not mine anyway. It's his business, not mine. And the more I get out of the way of the business, the more he shines through it, the more he takes care of it, And
also this mindset, like it works also in the opposite way. Like it made you relax.
Oh yeah.
Like for example, being honest, like March last year was horrible. March this year, it's same thing. But I'm not stressed. Yeah. I'm not like, struggling, like how we're going to pay the bills or anything. We have to go through. Like, no, it just, you realize like it's his business. Sure. I'm running it at the moment, and it's up to him. We still do whatever we can, but to have that mindset, what's, would you say, biggest failure and how you recovered from it?
Oh, good.
In business.
Yeah. No, I love that question. I think it's interesting. I think for me, carrying too much overhead and not making people sell more. I think hiring certain people when I shouldn't have. I think those have been pretty bad mistakes on my end. In terms of like actual roofing work, we've made a handful of mistakes there. We had a job that we ordered the wrong Valley metal, and it caused we had to redo a lot of the job. We're gonna, we're always gonna have to remedy those situations. Those are failures. But I think the biggest failure I've had, honestly, is taking my team to Colorado. Okay. So I started a division in Colorado a couple of years ago in 23. And I knew the Lord was like not on it. He was like, don't do this. And I was like, but there's all these hailstorms. I'm going to go up there and we'll just sell some jobs out there. And in his goodness, by the grace of God, like we went out there and
was it like a storm chasing?
Yeah, it was a storm chasing moment. So Colorado is a licensed state. People don't know this, but Colorado is a licensed state. You have to have a Class C roofing license to do work out there. Yeah. Wow. You have to have a license to work there. They're similar to Florida, Oklahoma, Louisiana. You have to have licenses to work in those states, right? So we went out to Colorado and we had to get a license. So I had to go through and get a license. So I was like, oops. So we were delayed by that. And then we started knocking doors, and it was people had already gone and swept through the storms. So it was like we're knocking on people that have already got a contractor, and it was just getting our teeth kicked in a little too late, right? Yeah. Well, we were out there, and I spent a lot of money to put us out there, and God just gave us the perfect amount of deals to basically break even before we came back. And I pulled everybody back. We broke even on Colorado. We pulled it back, and we were like, hey. And I felt it. I felt it in my spirit. I felt the Lord just like, I'm going to cover you, but you got to do things with me. So I think the biggest failures that we have as business owners that I can learn from that experience is anytime we take the business into our own hands and we try to shimmy our way through or do our own thing or figure it out or do this initiative or this initiative. We hadn't gone and done that time with the Lord like you're talking about. That's so important to our businesses because if we don't do that, then we start to grab these things and work them up ourselves. And typically we're not going to, well, every situation I've been in, it's not worked out for me.
Yeah, but this storm chasing is different kind of animal. So you need to be prepared for it. You need to be like, that's why, like, as a restoration company, they always tell me, like, do you go to Florida? Or do you go to LA to Louisiana, not LA, when it storms happen? And it's like, it's not my thing. It's not like something I even want to get into. And since we're in the storm chasing, how do you defend the reputation of roofers that they're storm chaser? Like, like people, when they think of a roofer here in Houston, they storm chaser. You guys only work when there's a storm. Like, how would you respond to average person who doesn't know that?
Well, most of our business comes from, because if you think about it, they're installing 20, 30, 40, 50-year products on people's homes, okay? Now, Texas weather, shingles aren't going to last that long. They just don't. Even though when they say that they do, they're not going to last that long. I don't care what anybody says.
Plus, like now, insurance companies,
they're cutting it a little bit sooner.
So 8 years, a lot of companies are So
those things we're dealing with a more. First of all, they're higher ticket they're higher ticket jobs, but they're also, you're like one and done. You know what I mean? Like I don't know what the math is, but I mean, we could probably find out. But I mean, most people would only replace their roof at least once in their lifetime, or only once, excuse me. They're only going to place it once. And to me, that's kind of why. I mean, when storms happen, it's opportunity, right? We lose opportunity cost if we don't go out and we help people. Now, for me, I look at it differently. I say, if it's here in Houston, I'm going to knock on the doors because I don't want them to work with a fly-by-night roofer. People that are from Oklahoma and Louisiana.
Yeah, that's what they're going to rip them off. They have no warranty.
Correct.
They're
not local. They're literally this and that. But I think when there's storms that happen, and like, let's say there was a storm in Austin. Like I went to Austin and did a lot of work, but I opened up an address office, and I opened up a whole system over there. And I'm pretty local. I mean, I built people there.
Yeah, if you need to help someone in Dallas, you can do that.
Right. I mean, you can build around storms that are happening and still have the same business practices in a different region. It's just a matter of how you do it. So storm chasing in terms of like, buying an RV and like going out to a place and just staying out there for 6 months and then dipping out, collecting what you can and then dipping out. I don't do that kind of business. Like if there's a storm in an area, in a region that I've visioned and dreamed for, that which I have a vision for Texas, Colorado, Oklahoma, Florida, and some of the Midwest and Central. So I have a vision for like just those areas. And so if they're in that area and it accelerates a potential region to build that region out, then I think that's all good. I don't think that's necessarily storm chasing if you're having that mindset. But it comes with, you're walking into a place you haven't been. You got to build that all out. So it's a mix of the two. But for Houston, to tell people, to the people, I would say, you got to look them up online. You got to look at the reviews. You got to make sure that they're reputable. They got the right accreditations. They're working with manufacturers that are credible manufacturers. They've got some sort of premium or elite, warranty, extended warranty with the manufacturer. And if they have those things, more or less, they're going to have a good reputation and they're going to be a good contractor. But I also look at reviews, Google reviews, look at the Better Business Bureau, check out AI, look at Chat GPT and different things. Like I say, do your research on the roofing contractor, but also if you don't have peace with a contractor, why work with him? You're the decision maker.
Correct.
You are not you don't have to be pressured or hassled into a decision. And then if somebody's doing a violation where they're either violating the law where they're practicing like a public adjuster as a roofing contractor, immediately disqualified. If they're doing shady stuff on the roof, immediately disqualified and turn them into the authorities, right? These types of things are red flags for contractors, and storm chasers are the most known for those types of things.
Or I'll pay your deductibles.
Or eating exactly, that's a huge one, right? You can't eat the deductible in Texas. It's illegal. It's illegal across the nation, but in Texas, for sure, we get a problem here in Texas. It's the Wild West out here. Oh boy. I've gone up to Dallas and I had a roofer knock behind me and offer a TV, no deductible, and a 75-inch TV.
No way.
That's like, dude, that TV's gonna be drowning in water by the time they get that roof on there. My goodness.
Yeah. What's the funniest story with a customer? Like, sorry, like you still like think of it.
Like what kind of customer? I've had them a lot of different kinds.
Yeah, like customer that they're like funny, or like they're just, like they're from different country, or they misunderstood you, or like.
Okay. Well, one of the coolest customers I've had was a guy named Tanweer Ahmed.
Okay.
And he owns like the whole state of Nevada's Taco Bells. So
he
lives in Tomball, and he's a wonderful guy.
Okay, that's cool.
Very cool guy. One of the coolest experiences I've had working with a client was one with him. I had a great experience with a guy named Jeremy Thigpen, who's the CEO of at the time he was the CEO of Transocean Drilling, like Transocean Oil, the rig company, the one that a few years ago blew up in the one they made the movie about with Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah.
That Transocean drill, that rig, he was a CEO. He was brought on as CEO after that incident happened. And we did his roof, and we met at a bar. I wasn't drinking at the bar. We met at Lupe Tortillas, actually.
Okay.
So, but at the bar section, I was getting some food, and I met him. He was in this like $10,000 coat. I mean, this $10,000 jacket, and just sitting there drinking a margarita. And I was like looking at the TV, watching things, and I just completely acted like I was normal. And the funniest thing was I acted like, I was acting like a CEO. I was just like, yeah. So he was talking about he's a CEO. I was like, yeah, I'm a CEO too. And he told me his company. He told me the name of his company, and like he said, what kind of revenue are you doing? I was like, yeah, I'm doing a couple million. He's like, oh wow, that's very cool. And I said, well, what kind of revenue are you doing? I know guys that are doing oil business that run an oil business, thinking that he was like on this same level. Yeah. Boy, oh my goodness. They're doing $5 billion a year. Yeah. It's like $5-6 billion a year CEO. So that was a pretty cool experience to do his roof, and we got a testimonial from him. He did a video. We did another roof for him, and he's just a great guy. He's a man of God too. He's a really amazing person. I love him to death. Awesome. And so that was one of the funniest things. And then one of the funniest experiences was this guy named Jerry. Okay, I'll leave his last name, and he was signed up with me to do a roof, okay? And there's a tree that fell on his house. We got the tree off. We started doing some of the mitigation or some of the stuff that was involved there, and put some tarps up and got the tree off. And he just was like waiting for the insurance. We got denied. Allstate denied him a few times. We kept going, and finally he got fed up and he was that frustrated, and so he hired another roofing company. And he's like, Josh, I'm going to go with another roofing company. Don't worry about it. I'm like, what do you mean? I just spent $3,000 to try to take care of all this stuff. What do you mean? You shouldn't work with another roofing company. I'm running this business. What are you talking about? Did you do like did you just pay out of pocket? And he was like, yeah, I was just going to pay out of pocket, no big deal. I was like, okay, well, how about this? How about you pay out of pocket to me and don't work with them? And he was like, okay, fine, come do it. And he just was so easy to just give this business away to somebody else. And I'm like, bro, I've been working on this for months.
Yeah, for a long time. Man.
So that was I don't know if that was the funniest, but we've had
it's not. I feel how do you jiggle between the roofing, personal, family? You're very involved with the church community, with the Bible study, running it in your house, plus run out with the new adventure with the coffee company. Like how do you jiggle your time? And also your wife, she's a business owner too.
Yes.
So that's like, you know,
It's a definitely we're in a season right now. I'm very disciplined with my time. I'm getting up. I want to do better about this. I've been working on my routine, getting up a lot earlier and doing that. It's been good for us. Honestly, the Lord, bro. I'm gonna just rely on Him. I've got these things going on, but I'm not like maxing them out every day. I max out what I can do every day, but I'm not like holding myself up till midnight, and then coming home and stuff. Like I'll work hard until about 8 o'clock, and then I'm headed home. Like, oh no, like that's a long day. 9 o'clock is probably the latest I'll stay at the office. I get to the office no later than 8:30, 9 o'clock in the morning. If I'm working at the office that day, sometimes I work from home for the first part of the day. And, but I get started at work, 8:30 every day, and I've been getting up early, 5 o'clock, spending 5 to 7 with the Lord, 7 to 9, or 7 to 8:30, getting a workout in. And then from 9 to like 1, I'll work. Then I'll eat something like quickly. And then I'll go work again from like 1:30, 2 o'clock till about 8 or 9 o'clock at night. And then I combined, I do blocks of time. So I'll do activities. Like if I'm doing marketing, I'm going to do that for a couple hours, sales, a couple hours. If I need to work in my coffee business, I'll work at that for a sliver of time. So coffee right now is getting a little bit of time.
And how's the time with your wife?
So I have a cutoff. My cutoff time is I want to be home by 7:30, 8 o'clock on a regular day. I want to be home by 7:30. That's like a cutoff. Like I turn my phone. I have 2 phones, so I cut off my phone. I put it on Do Not Disturb at 7:30. So people, they call me. But also, one of the things that's been helpful for me when I've been super busy like this, I actually transferred my phone number, my 832-866 number, over to a voice over IP. So I have now I don't miss calls, but I have AI on the calls, answering the calls on the off hour, so I don't have to take every phone call anymore. So I'm having other people answer the phone for me. That's been a game changer for me. Yes, so good, because we could have 4 booked appointments that I don't even know about yet until the next day, and I'm not having to stress about it because it's all coming in and working it out.
It's amazing.
Yeah, that's been a game changer for me. That's
I wish we can do that here, because we're emergency. If we don't answer it right away, and we are there within like 30 minutes, 45 minutes, we lose the call. We lose the job. That's how it is. Yeah, we got the jobs and then 5 minutes later, surf for behind us, and we get the job because 5 minutes earlier, so it's just different type of beast. Josh, last thoughts. If you have a word for people who want to get into business, what advice you would give them? If it's just one short advice.
Okay. Wow. All right. Let me think about this. Okay.
I know getting right with God is must.
Yeah, that's guaranteed. Yeah. For sure. That's the 100%. That's the right answer. That's the paper, right? You write the answer on, right?
Sure.
That's, the getting right with the Lord 100%, being called for it, being called into it, doing your purpose, following your purpose, Purpose-Driven Life's a great book.
Not everyone for business, for sure.
Yeah, Rick Warren, but Purpose-Driven Life is a great book. When you find your purpose, you find something that you love and that you're gonna do effortlessly, that you're just gonna enjoy. It's not really work anymore. It's fun. And when you do that, I think that helps balance being a business owner for sure. But I would also just encourage, if there is business owners out there, to get mentorship. I think that's probably the biggest thing that's helped my business, is finding mentors and business coaches that have helped me along the way. People that are way far above you, that are willing to lend a hand down and show you how to do things. I think that's the biggest help for any business owner. And so
that's true. Give
Hassan a call if you're in restoration. He's doing it the right way. here. So, yeah.
Same with me. Like when I started,
Yeah.
if it wasn't for business coach and
Oh,
you
no.
know, like,
I had a business.
I wouldn't have done it in that pace and that
Correct.
speed. It save you a lot of money, a lot of mistakes, and make you profitable for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's also finding the right people because the internet, there's a lot of people act experts, but in reality, they have no experience. Like, they're fake, you know. Josh, thank you so much for joining today.
Well, thanks, man.
I really enjoyed this.